Hello, so I've been given a plus 3 is equal to 2a plus 7 all over r. And I've been asked to make a the subject of the formula. So in other words, what I'm after is a is equal to something else. So I just want to have a on its own, all right? So let's colour code the a's so we keep track of them, because that's what we want to try and eventually have on its own. All right, now I'm looking at this as an algebraic expression. I'm thinking, I've got a fraction on the right-hand side. Now, I hate fractions. So my number one priority, particularly in algebra, my number one priority is to get rid of that fraction. So how am I going to get rid of that fraction? Well, at the moment, are you happy this over r just simply means divided by r? Divided by r. So how do I get rid of a divide? I multiply. So I multiply by r. You know, if I have 1 divided by 2, then if I just multiply by 2, those two things will just cancel and I'll just be left back at 1. So I multiply through by r. But whatever I do to one side, I'm also going to have to do to the other. So I'm going to have to multiply this side by r. But I don't just multiply the a by r, do I? I multiply everything on the left-hand side by r. Yeah? Okay, so I've got a times r and a divide r. They will just cancel. That's looking immediately better. I've got rid of the fraction now. But now I've got brackets on the left-hand side. Okay, I can get rid of that. So I've got an r times a plus 3. What I've got to make sure is that Mr. R visits Mr. A and Mr. 3. It visits everything inside that house, if you like. Got to visit everything inside that house. It's just rude if I don't visit everybody. So if I multiply through by r, I end up with r times a. I end up with r times a plus 3 times r. Plus 3 times r. Plus 3 times r. Okay, that's looking better. But remember what I'm after. I'm after a being the subject of the formula. Well, at the moment, I've got an a on this side, and I've got an a on this side. So surely then I want a on the same side, right? So let's take this RA onto the other side. So I'm going to take it through the equals bridge, and I'm going to take it on that side. But because I've taken it through the equals bridge, what's the penalty fare for taking it across the equals bridge? I have to stick a negative on the front. It was a positive, so I have to change the sign. Yeah, so it becomes a positive. Okay, that's looking a little bit better, but unfortunately I've got a plus 7 in the way of all my other terms, right? I just want a on its own, but I've got 2a, I've got an RA, and I've also got a plus 7. So I'm going to take that plus 7 over to the other side. So I'm going to take that plus 7 through the equals bridge, and I'm going to stick him on this side. But remember, what's the penalty fare for going across the equals bridge? You have to make him negative. You have to change the sign. All right, okay. So now look at what I've got on the right-hand side. I've got 2 terms involving a. Well, does that mean that a is common to both terms? Yeah? So surely that means then that I can just stick a couple of brackets around this term here. If I move it over a bit, make a little bit of space. So I can just stick a couple of brackets around this right-hand side, and I can just take Mr. A out of here, and I can take Mr. A out of here and combine them together. So combine them together. All right? So this is now what I've got on the right-hand side. This is very, very close, because essentially all I've got is something multiplied by a. Something multiplied by a. So how do I get rid of a multiply by that thing? I just divide by that thing. So in other words, if I divide through by that whole thing, that whole bracket, okay, then remember I'm also going to have to do the same on the other side. So I'm actually going to write it like this. So 2 minus r, okay? So that's divide 2 minus r. So those two things cancel, and I've got a on its own. So a is equal to minus 7 plus 3 over 2 minus r. Now, it just looks nicer. I think it looks nicer to write it like this. So write this right-hand side like 3r minus 7. So I don't start on a negative, because if you start on a negative, then that's sort of, you know, it's sort of, it leaves you on a bad start. So let's start on a positive, shall we? And that's all a is equal to. It's just a minor thing, but that's all a is equal to.